This is the Sabbath School lesson for the third quarter, 2021.
Lesson 6 from the series Rest in Christ is titled Finding Rest in Family Ties, ready for teaching on August 7, and I'm Percy Harrold. Wednesday, August 4. Doing Relationships God's Way. Initially, Joseph's story in Egypt takes a positive turn. Joseph has entrusted himself to God, and God blesses Joseph, who rises to heights he would not have imagined in Potiphar's household. In what practical ways could God's blessings be seen in Joseph's life? What are Joseph's interpersonal relationships like? Read Genesis 39, verses 1 to 6. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favour in his sight, and served him. Then he made him overseer of his house, and all that he had he put under his authority. So it was, from the time that he had made him overseer of his house and all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was all that he had in the house and in the field. Thus he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. Although Joseph seems to be getting along very well with Potiphar, and his relationships with the staff in the house and the field seem to be smooth, trouble is brewing. Someone at home is restless. What relationship problem is Joseph facing? How does he choose to manage it? Genesis 39, beginning at verse 7. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said to his master's wife, Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I, nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her to lie with her or to be with her. Joseph has a problem with Potiphar's wife. Perhaps we should reformulate that. Potiphar's wife has a problem. She looks at others as things that can be manipulated and used. She wants to use Joseph. Joseph is described as handsome in form and appearance in Genesis 39, verse 6. The Bible seldom mentions people's physical traits because God, as it says in 1 Samuel 16:7, does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. In this case, Joseph's good looks seem to be more of a hindrance than a help in his pursuit of purity and faithfulness to God's principles. Despite this wicked woman's insistence, Joseph did something seemingly counterproductive. He applied biblical principles to all relationships, in this case, Potiphar's wife. Biblical principles for relationships are not old-fashioned, as anyone, which is everyone, who has suffered the consequences of sin can attest. The biblical narrative points out that this was not a one-off temptation. Potiphar's wife pursued him again and again, as we read in verse 10. So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her to lie with her or to be with her. Joseph tried explaining his motivation for his decision in verses 8 and 9, but he refused and said to his master's wife, Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I, nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Joseph realized that he could not control the choices of others. He decided, however, to live, love, and treat those around him in a way that would honour God. Joseph had learned to live in God's presence. This knowledge helped him resist temptation. And so to finish the day, have you tried to apply biblical principles to all your relationships, even those where the other person is not playing fair? How did it work out? Read Matthew 5:43-48. You have heard that it was said, "You shall love your neighbour and hate your enemy." But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. Why is it important to live like this? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia, and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.